for all the sack. I'm ready.
He's a very good looking man. I went to high school with him. He was very thin, not like me, but like he was thinner. I'm glad that he like bulked up.
It's funny. He's gonna listen to this too. Don't worry.
I figured as much, but it's better when he's home alone.
He's got a movie coming out.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it the Triple X type of movie?
I wish.
I don't know what it's about. It's kind of like a documentary, but like also the trailer doesn't give out much.
I never know. Might be a hit, might be a miss.
I don't know when it's gonna come out though.
Okay.
I think wasn't he saying it was kind of about the past, present, future reflections?
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that? Yeah.
But
Oh, this
think
man's
so.
getting deep in here. Holy
Right.
shit.
Kind of art housey
Okay.
style film. It sounded pretty interesting. I like it. It's a little meta. He said it's about his own life and about, you know.
Are you guys okay on drinks? Do you want one?
I'm good.
I
Appreciate
am
it though.
definitely
You're good?
down for another one if that's okay.
Hey, you can have a Prairie Street IPA or one of the high
Black Cherry.
Man, you better grab that IPA.
You okay
I'm
over
telling
there?
you
You
right
want a drink?
Dude, IPA is so terrible.
Bro,
I don't
you
get
have
how
to
people
try one
like
of these
it.
first.
It's the coffee of beer.
It really is.
So
black
now
coffee of beer.
this isn't just the IPA from the grocery store. This is a different kind,
It's
right?
Prairie
this
Street
is-
Brewery.
This is home. They make it themselves in house.
Yeah.
I'm down to try it.
All right.
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna
I'll
like
tell you
it.
what. I'll finish it if you don't like it.
All right. Well, all right. I'm gonna do my intro. All right. Well, thank you for coming back to the How You Doing podcast. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, David? You looking good over there, buddy? Okay, chest hair out.
That was a little half-hearted. I'm gonna need you to redo that.
I am not redoing shit over here, boy.
All right. I guess,
Unedited,
you're gonna get a
uncensored,
half-hearted response then.
uncircumcised over here.
I'm doing
You doing okay?
I'm doing
Why?
I don't know. Just not enthusiastic.
No, you just need some more beer in you. You need a
That,
little-
that and caffeine. I haven't had any caffeine yet. today.
That's why you have a fucking
That's
rock star.
only 240. I'm on those 300 big boys.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Mm,
awful. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
I don't really do energy drinks much, but like ever since I started drinking, the fuck are they called at work? Not the amps.
Bang.
They have Rockstar at work.
Fuck bang. That gave me that gave me a panic attack.
So wait, question. Was that the intro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to get this one quick because
That's
there's
why I
some
hated
stuff
it
that
so
we have to
much.
talk about.
Do you do the 5-hour energies?
No.
Those made me feel like I'm gonna die.
Literally.
Yeah,
By the time it wears off, it's game over.
the feeling of impending doom is crazy. I think it's all the B12. It fucks with your brain a little bit. High
No,
levels-
so a B12 actually makes your body produce energy. So what 5 energy does is it gives you so much that your body's like, okay, we got to produce a lot, so it makes you keep going. But what they don't tell you is that when those B12 starts coming down, your brain has now this new chemical imbalance.
yeah.
So unfortunately, what's going to happen is I'm ready, I'm smooth sailing.
That's why it makes
You
you,
know
feel
what?
sick
You
as
know
fuck
what?
afterwards.
You know what? That was bad. I'm gonna redo it. I'm gonna
See?
redo it.
I was right the
I'm
whole
gonna redo
time.
it. Well, maybe it's because I'm a little hungover right now.
Yep.
I
That's what you get.
I drank a little bit too much last night. But okay. Thank you guys for coming back to the How You Doing podcast.
Yeah, that was
How
like a
you
5 out of
doing?
10.
How you doing? Please like, subscribe, share it, comment, and like, dude, just fucking subscribe. It takes a little bit of time. If you don't subscribe, I'm gonna piss in your kid's shampoo bottle and you won't even know about it. It'll be fucking funny as fuck. So we're saving kids if you subscribe day by day.
Subscribe and I'll piss my pants again.
What?
Again.
Again?
Again.
You piss your pants?
Sometimes.
That's hot. Anyway, so here we go. We got two guests today. We got Logan Lundberg, my realtor, and then we got Michael Hines, his posse gang. You know,
Yeah, I
he's
got
part
an
of his posse.
I got an entourage
his
now. I'm
entourage.
famous.
Yeah, he pulled up. I was just expecting you, and then you pull up with like two other people. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a fun time.
Right? I'm improving my game every step.
You like that one better, David?
Yeah.
Fuck your opinion.
I said that was a foul.
So
The second one,
there is a topic that I wanted to talk about for a little bit. I know you probably don't want to talk about work, but like a lot of people don't know the steps on buying a house. There's still some things that you tell me, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, before you buy a house, what should you have?
Well, first and foremost, you should, do your homework, like the packet I gave you. the
Yeah, I
review.
read it, and it just goes.
So-
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and no, I get you, and I love talking about real estate. That's why I'm in it.
Yeah.
I love helping people buy and sell homes. I just don't like the grind of what a realtor takes. So I'm really excited to get into investing and kind of cut out that middleman. But again, I know a realtor can do a good job and help people. But when you first start buying a home, the biggest thing you want to make sure you look out for is just knowing what to know. Right. There's going to be things you're not going to know. There's going to be things that you're like, oh shit, I didn't even know that was a thing. So really just getting a good understanding of the basics, which is knowing what your budget is.
Yes.
And being confident behind it.
I fucking budgeted 5-6 times. I'm like, but what if? What if?
Exactly.
I'm like, the paper and my writing is on there. I'm secure. I'm safe. But I'm still like, you never know. What if?
So it's like just knowing that budget, being confident behind it, along with knowing what you want and breaking down your wants versus your needs. Because a lot of people will throw those kind of two back and forth. Like if I have me, my fiance, and a kid, right? Bare minimum, I need 2 bedrooms. Bare minimum, that's a need. Wants, like, oh, I want to have maybe 4. So that you can have a playroom and I can have an office room. That's a want. Wants are in the future, needs are right now.
Okay.
And so by doing those 3 things, just knowing your finances and being confident with them, knowing what your wants and needs are, and the last thing is knowing what the market's going to offer you. So that means you're really going to want to go and get a realtor so you can see what the market is going to offer. Because, hey, maybe right now, I qualify for $100,000, and in Rockford, $100,000 gets you some pretty nice homes here and there, but they're the needle in the haystack type of thing. To where if you maybe wait a few months to a year, you might not go for $200,000.
Yeah.
Just like getting that game plan is so essential when you're buying a home.
Right. Do you honestly believe that it's harder being a car salesman or a realtor?
Man, it is harder being a realtor than it is a car salesman. Because when I was in car sales, I could lie. I'm not good at it. Mind you, I want everyone to understand, I am not a good liar.
Oh, no.
It's pretty bad. Like my fiance will ask me something. She goes, oh, really? I'd be like, yeah. My eyes start dotting to the side. Yeah, no, totally. That happened.
Yeah, I did the dishes.
Yeah.
You've been joking around, lying. He's terrible.
I'm bad. I'm horrible at it. But, back then you could lie. And you have a person who's horrible at lying in an industry that's all about lying. Now, luckily enough, through my about 1 to 2 years of car sales and experience, I got lucky enough to meet Anderson Mazda. And a lot of those people, especially now my buddy Chris being the manager of the Mazda branch, they're really all about being authentic.
Okay.
Being 100% real with people, don't BS. The only part of that transaction that I would say people still keep an eye out, because it is still a car lot, no matter how nice the salesmen are, how upfront they are, still be wary of financing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard of Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, I like Dave Ramsey. I don't agree with a lot of what he says.
Yeah,
I don't like a lot of what he says.
A lot of what he
especially about
says, I'm
credit.
like, in hindsight, it makes sense, but it's like, I don't know. He's like, he talks to people that like call on his show, and they're like, yeah, we make like about $150,000 a year. I'm like, boy, you make $150,000 a year? That's not fucking fair.
I hate to be the odd one out, but who exactly is Dave Ramsey?
Financial advisor.
Financial advisor, yeah.
Especially, like, I would say he used to be he used to be an accountant.
Yeah, he used to be an accountant, and then he became a crisis financial advisor, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then now he's an actual YouTube financial advisor. And again, he does make good sense. Unfortunately, not in this type of day and age.
Right. And I think you get to a point too where after you become so successful as an influencer in a certain trade or a certain industry, you are no longer a part of it. You're more so just speculating about it. And you're more so just like trying to sell hot takes on it in order to get more clicks, in order to get more publicity, more attention.
It's not true, man. He talks to thousands of millionaires every day.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying it doesn't mean he knows what he's talking about.
But see, look, I can sit here and talk to you about all my amazing business plans. Like when you had the guy come in, we're talking about plans. I have all this knowledge. That's great.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, and I'll use the analogy, if you're on a road and you're getting to your destination and you have 2 options, you have a regular map, and you have your phone's map, right? Now, the phone map's going to be easier to use. Everyone has it. It takes you right there. The phone dies, you're screwed. Now you got to use a real map. That's the problem. Anyone can be Google Maps. They can tell you and say, "Oh, I know how to get there. I know how to read a map because Google Maps is telling you." But when a real map gets flopped into your lap, you're like, "Okay, what the hell was this turn? How do you know how long it is? What's the distance? What's the north south west ratio and everything?"
Talking about maps, what the fuck what do iPhone users have?
Apple
Maps, basically.
Yeah.
It's still
Apple
called
Map?
Map. It's still called
Dude,
Maps.
I was at O'Hare, and my buddy was with us, and we were trying to get out, or get back onto to 90, and we use his iPhone map, and I shit you not, it took us in a weird direction where we ended up on the runway.
How the hell?
It was so weird. I'm like, dude, I gotta get out of here before I get arrested right now. So then I put on my Google Maps, Android user, Samsung user.
Man, I have an iPhone. I use Google Maps.
Yeah, like what the fuck happened?
I think
What do they have?
for a while they barred you from using it on like older iPhones. I don't think that's
Maybe.
a thing anymore.
So yeah, I can't even download that app right now. I can't download Google Maps. I have to use the maps that it's already provided.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least there's third-party applications for navigation now on iOS, and that's one of the main things I really don't like about iOS is how restrictive they are about the store and the apps and all that. When like the Google Play Store, number one, a lot of the shit doesn't need to be verified, and sure, that opens you up to the risk of like malware, but it also allows you to get your hands on things that you can't get on the iOS store. It's because Apple doesn't want legal culpability for a lot of things. So
And their profit.
Yeah, they're much more restrictive with like any intellectual property stuff or any like software. I think they even they keep their source code locked up as intellectual property, and they don't let developers have access to that.
And it's very hard to, how you can jailbreak an Android pretty easy.
Yeah, because
iPhones are a lot more difficult.
Dude, I've never seen a jailbroken Android. I remember in middle school, everybody would jailbreak their iPod Touches.
Well, they call them. They say it's rooting. For Android, it's a rooting process, not jailbreaking. I think it's just different software.
It depends on where you are. A lot of people will still call it jailbreaking.
I mean, you
anyways.
gotta remember, a lot of people don't know the actual terminology for what coding is.
Yeah.
Or, like how to use it. I don't. I have ChatGPT, so I have a good way of getting by.
Right.
But, they're both the same thing. It's just more when you get technical onto it. You are right. It is, I believe, rooting for iOS and then jailbreaking for Android. Not Android, other way around.
Yeah.
Because like for, Apple, you have to actually break into it. That's the whole thing. But with Android's a little mini computer on as a phone. Yeah. So you can just plug in and things are done.
All it is it's basically bypassing the usual restrictions on root files, and which is essentially key functionality code in the phone that's supposed to be like baked in. You're not really supposed to be able to touch it. And usually there's a lot of like protections against modifying it or making any changes to it, modifying the functionality. But when you root the phone, you get access to the root files.
It's basically like getting administrative access to everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's
Bingo.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some fun shit, dude.
That is fun.
Let's talk about fun stuff over here. This is the How You Doing podcast where we talk
Where's
about
the dicks and balls?
Dicks, balls, sphincters, tits galore, dude.
You ever tried Rocky Mountain oysters yet?
Oh, yeah, you need to stop. You need to stop right now. Listen, they're about to get banned on YouTube.
Okay, so you're a realtor. Let's do a little fun with it. Let's say I start an OnlyFans.
Okay.
How much do I have to make so I could buy a house using just OnlyFans money? Do OnlyFans people have to pay taxes?
Yes, they do.
So they're all 1099 just like anything else. So I'm a 1099 person, means I run my own business and I still have someone else that pays me from my earnings. So like I'm a contractor.
Okay.
They're all still contractors.
Right.
Now, hindsight, I want to say this right now. You're talking to the right person for OnlyFans. So let me just say this right now, because nor do I not participate in it. I am proud to say I have a father-in-law who has helped establish an OnlyFans, from the recording to the setup to the marketing to the whole 9 yards. And a little high note, for you guys. OnlyFans is not that thing where you need mass amount of people. You only need 1,000 people.
No, it's really all about what you charge a month too.
Yeah, like there's people I know that charge $5 a monthly cost, and they have 500 people.
And on top of that, you it's kind of like marketing for like mobile games, where you've got your average person who will pay the monthly subscription, but then you've got your whales, you've got your big spenders, you've got certain people that will drop hundreds to get like a video of your butthole, but there will be that one guy who wants to spend so much fucking money.
Dude, there's some people who run the OnlyFans that make over $100,000 a month.
Dude,
Yeah, there's
crazy.
managers too.
That's so crazy.
Like,
So, like
I got offered a
that's
job
all-
to be an OnlyFans manager.
That's
Oh,
all
shit.
grift.
Yeah, it was for a good friend of mine. But we don't talk anymore. Or I'm not gonna drop names. No. But and she was really getting into it, and she asked, because I was telling the same thing I told you guys, that my father-in-law, helped set some stuff up. Me and him talk about OnlyFans here and there. And she was asking for advice and stuff like that, and I gave her some good advice. I think she's that's her full-time job right now.
that's dope. So like how much do you think comfortably, like at least?
So I mean, let's break it down. First and foremost, I want to give you guys a little bit of a warning and a little bit of liability for my own self here. realtors are not financial people.
No.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
if you
they
want
are
to know
not.
your numbers, you want to know how that works, talk to a lender. Do not trust a
Yes.
realtor. I'm sorry, you can be as experienced as you want, but unless you know everyone's, you know, what they have in their banks, what they're making, what they're doing for their, you know, overtime, all that fun stuff, there's no way you're gonna know exact. But average guesses, right, on what we're usually trained on and what I see from my clients is if you're making 40,000 a year, you're typically okay to go ahead and go for a loan. It all depends on what your debt is. So we'll say a perfect world, right? Keep it simple. Say a perfect world. She's making 40,000 a year. She probably has 500 subscribers at $5 a month. She's doing pretty well. You know, consistent content, doing it nicely. So yeah, she could probably go for a house. The only bad thing with 1099 income is it goes off tax records. It doesn't go off your stubs because you don't really get stubs at all. So if she's, you know, like doing what TikTok and everyone else saying would go ahead and pay no taxes, cheat past it, move on and just, you know, pay nothing every year, she's screwed. You're not getting a home. But if she just takes that hit for the first year, then she's good the next year to go ahead and get her home.
Damn.
I have a question on that. What if you just walk into a realtor and you're paying full cash?
That works too. You know, again, cash will save you money, right? Now, again, I'm a big person who's against using cash unless you're going to live in that home. But if it's investment or it's wealth or you have a plan, never pay cash. Yes, it's cheaper. Like I just had a closing with a cash buyer and they actually only end up paying about $620 in like fees and all that fun stuff but Roman's gonna be paying roughly around about a good $3,000 or more, you know, in his fees because he's using a bank. But the banks are more safe. They make sure that you have more time to be safe in every single step.
It's like a buffer between the lenders and and you as the individual.
Yeah, so it gives you everything nicely. And again, if you have a game plan for it, it's better to go ahead. If I have $100,000, I can split that 4 ways at, you know, $250, and I can get 4 properties that are cash flowing versus just 1 property. You know, and then if you do a renovation loan, you can go ahead and get the property fixed up too.
Yeah.
And save your money. So like again, if you have a plan for it, go for financing. If you don't, you're just gonna live in a home and you want to die in that house. Good luck to you. The average person has 2 homes their entire life, and that's a perfect person. You have the first home you're in, right, that you get yourself, and then you have the one that you're gonna downsize because you're gonna get older. Your body's gonna get achier. You know, you're gonna be wanting to clean stuff like that. Unless you're just that amazing, incredible old person. But unfortunately, we don't have those food from back in the day, so it's not as healthy.
Yeah, that's why when we looked at that house, I'm like, I wanted the perfect like move in and that's it. But now I'm like, I gotta make some sacrifices. So like, this is not the forever home that I'm gonna live in. Just if you don't know, I bought a house.
You not only bought a house,
Announcement.
but he got a really good, like he's what I call, it's rare for you to win in the game of real estate.
It's hard
because you need to have like a good amount of money and consistently. But when you're buying a home, a good win is knowing that, hey, I bought this home for $100,000 and in 5 years now it's worth 150. You know, Roman's sitting pretty well. And would you mind if I go into detail? You want to
Tell him I don't give a.
Yeah, so I'm not going with addresses. So I'm not throwing no addresses out there. But he's looking at getting his home for around a decent price. You know, again, I'm not going to put any exact numbers for your own personal information.
10 million.
But, you know, he's getting his home for, say, like 150, and it's already in a market to where he's between 145 to 190 in that home market, and they're looking to increase it again about 2 to 210. So by the time he buys that home with everything else, in the next year to 2 years, he's already going to have about a good increase of about roughly $50,000 to $60,000.
It's
equity.
a nice neighborhood, dude. It's really nice, and he doesn't live that far. He can come over and play some Super Nintendo.
Literally, I can walk to his house.
Hell yeah.
This just goes to show how good of a realtor he actually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
I live
how
right
you
there,
win.
buddy.
Yeah,
I live right there. I see you through the window.
That's how you win in real estate. You get a home that you know when you go to sell, you can get money out of it and get you into that better home. Because I'm pretty sure right now, like what me and Roman are gonna have to do here soon before he closes on his home or after you close, I do it with all my clients, is we sit down and figure out a game plan for you. Because with you being young, you know, this is the first house, you're gonna want to consider steps.
I'm very new here, buddy.
Yeah.
No, for a new home buyer's experience. Now, say make subtle improvements such as a flower garden in the front, rock pathways, subtle things like that. Doesn't that increase the home's value?
So unfortunately, it is a myth that anything you do to your home will increase its value. That's a myth. Yeah. You have to look at 2 major factors. 1, what are people actually spending money for? And 2, what are you capped at in your area? Because if let's say Roman's in his house, right, and he has room to improve too, to get that full value out. right? The next thing is, and Roman is a two-hitter, so he's going to have his value grow naturally because the neighbors around him are improving his home, because he's buying in an area that was used for a nursing home situation. So a lot of those homes now are being sold in the last year, 2 years ago. So now getting new people coming in and renovating it.
Yeah.
So he's going to get that naturally just for his market area. And then if he improves, he's getting that as well. Which if you're in an area to where you're spending $300,000 for your home and you want to get a new kitchen in there, that's fine. People pay for kitchens. They pay for kitchens, square footage, and bathrooms, right? That's what they mostly pay for. Landscaping's a good because it tracks, but it doesn't sell them on it.
Yeah.
Bathrooms. Yeah.
What if you add a whole pool to the backyard or something like that?
So that could actually make you lose money.
How?
So if there's no other neighbors around you that has a pool, unfortunately, when you go to get appraisal, because I use a sales approach. So let's say I have this beer and I have that beer, and I'll use this High Noon.
Oh.
And I'm gonna borrow your IPA for a second.
Ew.
And so let's say if we're looking at these two things right now, right? Let me see what the size is real quick.
It's about me.
Okay. What are you talking about? My hand it's covered by my hand, so it's definitely not you. So you have a 355 milliliter to a whatever this one is, if I can find it. Nope, I've already given up. I'm going to call it 100. It's way more than that. 16 fluid ounces, all right? So the main thing to look at is if this is everyone else's house, because there's more High Noons on the table than there is IPA, and you come in and you have the IPA, unfortunately, they do a sales approach. So they're going to dock you money on every other home to bring down their overall price, and that's going to be your comparables. So your comps are allowed, what your money is. So if I have a pool and no one else has a pool, right, what they're going to do is they're going to add money to everyone else's home to try to level it out, depending on what averagely a pool will get you. And so that's where you start getting in that scary range to where, like, okay, they feel like it's going to sell for this, but it doesn't.
Okay.
And if you're on the other end of that, and someone's using your home, right, and you don't have a pool and someone else has a pool, yeah, your home goes up, but the other person's home doesn't really stay as much value, so it can be a hit or a miss depending on the area. And, you just got to really weigh those options. That's why, again, if you're going to start looking at selling your home, like me and Roman are going to sit down, we're going to go over like the practicalities of improvements, where you're capped at, what's a good amount of money, because you don't want to spend $30K on your home to only get $10,000 in revenue.
True. Like one thing that I do want to do, and when we were looking at the house, I want to elongate the driveway a little bit. I want to make, like, how it has that the door outside of the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just want to.
Yep, and then that way you can put like a little nice car overhead there.
Yep.
See, now that can make some money, because now you're getting more use out of the actual space.
Yeah.
Like the biggest thing I tell a lot of my clients too is be careful on how much square foot you buy, because a big home might be great, but if that home is, say, 2,200 square foot, which is a good size home, you're not going to be feeling cramped unless you have a whole bunch of kids, like my sister was 6. But then you're on like a half acre of land. Now that's wasted space, but you're going to be taxed at a lot higher rate than other people. So you want that nice middle. And again, he found that nice middle to where his yard isn't small, but he's not wasting money in property taxes.
Yep. And my co-host David over here wants to add a greenhouse to the
maybe
place.
a shed, a greenhouse, something like that. That's an actual like structure instead of just tearing up the lawn.
Yeah,
for a garden.
That'd be a great way of increasing your value. Because again, you got to look at it too. There's more than just like how much money am I gonna get? Think about it. If you only have 10 shots to make and you make one shot, that's $1 million in the bank. And say your chance of conversion on actually making a shot is 10%. Mm-hmm. Right? You're not looking at good odds. So we'll use that as the home. So right now, if you're selling your home and not a lot of people are interested, but you throw a greenhouse in there and it looks nice, that landscaping does increase your value. And yes, not by a whole lot, like a new bathroom or a kitchen or a better living room would do, but it gives you from going from, I got 10 showings this week to I got 30 showings this week.
Right. Yeah. Especially like I feel like with landscaping, having a centerpiece like that definitely attracts attention as far as like an open house perspective, like when people drive by,
Yeah, but again, you still got to be careful, because if your house looks immaculate, I'm talking about magnifique over here, and everybody else is around you does not, unfortunately, you're going to get labeled with gentrification. And that's
Very
a
true.
horrible title to have on a home, unless you're in the business and you can have the money to say I don't care.
Yeah.
Now, if you're in a like subtle neighborhood and you just suddenly decide to make your house extremely immaculate, how does that affect others?
So what happens is, really in the long run, unless someone else is going to match you, it hurts you. Because remember, for you to sell a home, then there needs to be comps. there needs to be some other home that's sold that they can use as like, hey, someone was willing to pay for this, so we can say reasonably that's what it's worth. And so if your house is immaculate and there's not a single house around it, that's awesome for you, but that's a personal choice. That is not a profitable choice because you're not getting your money's worth whatsoever.
And then that probably scares away buyers too. When they have nothing to reference it.
Yeah, because there's no way to know really what your value is other than with someone coming in and buying it. And for the bank, you know, that's the worst case. If you're doing that for your home, you're looking for cash buyers. You're not selling to anyone with the FHA, conventional, you know, VA or anything like that. You're getting a cash buyer. That's the only way you're maximizing your income there.
Because
and
the bank's not interested in financing it, or
no, not so much they're not interested. So say like I put my house in there and I bought the house for $100K and I put $200K in work into that house and it looks just immaculate. I'm talking about the president will come in there and say, "Ooh, I can take a dump in this bathroom over here. This is nice. Let me go ahead and touch peepees all I want."
Touch the peepees.
But here the problem is, that's great, but that's the president. You know, I'm not the president, nor do I have the money to spend. And so what the bank's gonna do is they're gonna go in through an appraisal. An appraisal again does that sales comparison. Unfortunately, the only comparisons you have are $100,000 homes to your $300,000 home that you want. So I mean, the highest is gonna go to the highest sold comps in the area. Now again, they can try to raise it up, but there's only so much you can do there. You know, like if you're stuck with 4 inches, I'm sorry, you're not going to hit 8. Even if you go and get the surgery that pulls a little bit in between from inside of you out, it's not happening.
But I joke every night.
Okay, so one thing, the toilets are small.
Yeah.
We saw them. They were short people, David. They were short.
So I found out they had a handicap.
Oh, now I feel like a piece of shit.
No, you're good. I mean, even like, so they were handicapped because again, it was an old nursing home. The area was for nursing homes.
Yeah. And
so as you see on the other side of the street, most of the homes were sold. And now you have families who are under the age of 40 or whatnot in those homes. Who are on your side of the street, I think there's a few people left were there like 70 to 90.
We got to break them down, boys.
And so, yeah, we're going to have to replace those toilets and the sink. Because that sink came up to, I think right below or right above your belly button.
Guys, this sounds like it's perfect height for me.
So have you guys I told him, I'm like, dude, the toilets are fucking small. He's like, it's probably the perfect height for me. I kind of like that.
Have you guys even tried using those toilets that are only like 2 feet off the ground? That's where the seat is.
No.
It is so difficult to take a shit in that position.
Bro, I'm squatting. I'm sorry.
So, okay, so
on the seat.
I want to change the toilet, but I want a bidet.
Oh, see, okay, so now you have a choice.
Will that drive the equity up?
It can't. It all depends. It all depends on what you do with the home and how consistent it goes through. Because remember, you have about 3, and I break it down like you have about 1 to 3 stages that a buyer's going to look at. They're going to look at price first and foremost. If they can't afford it, they'll try to look at it, but most realtors aren't going to show it. They're also going to look at consistent theme, because if a theme looks nice, they can imagine themselves having that same thing in the home. Increases your chance of actually getting it sold. And then just the overall actual price for like your updates, your renovations, stuff like that. And so like if you have a bidet in there and it matches a more elegant or classy, or maybe you just personally like it, by all means.
I want a clean butt, dude.
Yeah, but you can get toilet seat bidet, so you don't have to get the actual toilet.
I was gonna say, because everybody that I tell, I'm like, I want to get a bidet. They're like, oh, fancy.
But yeah,
like,
some people don't like bidets. They're like, man, listen, I'm a rugged, strong man. I don't touch my butt in the shower. Ain't no water gonna touch my butt.
Till I bleed type of
exactly.
Person.
I use bark to wipe my asshole.
And you got to be careful with those bidets too, because if you turn the pressure up too high, or the wrong person installs it, the pressure is too high.
Yeah,
no, that water can cut straight through you. What do you mean?
What?
Yeah,
if you don't got the pressure
water
regulated,
can cut through diamonds.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna be able to sell you or something like that, because that's specially needed for pressure.
No, it's not gonna hurt you that badly, but definitely if you don't have the pressure regulated correctly coming from the toilet,
you can get a blood on a butt fissure, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What if what if you put the pressure up a little bit just so we could cut that hemorrhoid off for you? You good?
I mean, I feel like as long as you got a mirror and God on your side, you should be all right.
You know, and there's something called high pressure fluid injection injuries. Look that up if you're curious.
Is that like because if you dive into water from a very high altitude, you have to clench your ass because the water.
No, that's like grease gun injuries where
because like you gotta clench your butt because the fucking pressure.
You gotta remember the higher you up, it's not about clutching your butt. It's about how you break the surface, because the surface can be as strong as concrete.
Yeah,
that's high as you go.
Like you can jump off the Brooklyn bridge hit that water, it's concrete.
Yeah. So like if you're not, your feet aren't going down because your toes are gonna cut, which then breaks the concrete format, goes back into being water. But if you come down flat foot, buddy,
Even flat foot's not going to do nearly as much damage as landing on like your back.
True.
Yeah,
true.
that's what you're looking at concrete when you land
belly
flat.
flop.
But no,
Yeah.
like even if you land from a high altitude onto water and you're flat foot, your feet are broken.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. They're like depending on how high you go. Those people get the circus that be in those super tall ladders. You know why they dive? Because if they don't, anything that's flat that hits it, it's literally you're hitting like concrete. And so I've seen one person get up and their entire arms like all bent in shape because like his bone popped out because he didn't have his hand right. He had his fingers
wrong.
He had his two part of his fingers. He said were just a little bit too high, so he was like this, and those hit.
So, for example, I jumped off a 100-foot diving platform one time, ripped my shoulder right out.
Really?
Just because I didn't have my hands in the right position.
Jesus.
What? That's crazy. Water's
like
dangerous, guys.
dislocated?
Drink beer instead.
Was it dislocated?
Yeah.
It was just ripped out of his socket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, to dislocate it.
That's exactly what that is.
That's lucky.
Do you guys remember? I think it showed on MTV. It was a show called Scar.
No.
It would just be like, "This is how I got my scar," and they
No.
would like just show like videos, and like it was like a bunch of skateboarders, but they were like, "Dude, my fucking hand's broken," and they would like, "Yeah, I went through this surgery," and like, you guys need to see it. It's really good. I need to turn my mic up.
I do pretty good on that show because I got a couple different ones.
I got some nasty burn scars from my old
There you
job.
go.
I used to cut steel all day with an oxygen torch.
You ever
Oh,
get anything
fun.
through your feet?
What?
You ever get any punctures through your feet?
No, no punctures. Oh, I've had glass. Like I've had glass in my feet. There was one time I swore up and down that there was like a piece of glass in my toe, and I couldn't find it for like a month. And then finally one day, I was pressing on my toe, and out pops this shard of glass straight out like a pin. Like hello, fucking freaky, because you can't see the shit under there.
Was it
No, you
fiberglass or was it?
No, it was just a regular it was a regular glass shard.
Oh, was it like the thin cuts?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, that suck.
I'm trying to forget what the fuck I was messing with that I got at my foot. I think I was playing around with like lab equipment, and I fucking
okay.
dropped something.
Speaking of fiberglass, I remember I had it was just for one day. It was just like an under the table demolition job. And we were tearing down the walls, ceilings. And then I see this foamy stuff. And I remember I'm not wearing any sleeves. It's just like a short tee because it's hot. And I see it. I'm like, oh, this stuff's squishy. Like I started like hugging it. I'm like, squishing it. I'm like, this is so cool. 5 minutes later, I'm like itchy. I'm like, damn, what the fuck? What happened? They're like, dude, did you touch that stuff? It's fiberglass. I'm like, that's glass? How? It's so squishy.
That fiberglass insulation is extremely useful, but
I was in pain for so long. I went home and I took a hot shower to open my pores up and try to get that fucking the glass out, but like even that was painful. I did feel better after the shower, but like it was like a 2-day injury.
I had a friend when I was at Auburn. So a fun quick backstory for you guys. I went to every high school in the area.
Really?
Yeah.
PHS?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
North?
I believe so.
I don't like you no more.
It's okay.
I'm not a Northie, bro.
I think so. I'm not sure.
North.
Like honestly, when you said the name, I was like, I have no clue. But I went to a lot because I got expelled from RPS 205, and they pushed me to every single school, and then I had to go to a regional school, and then I went up to the Loves Park areas and got expelled from there.
Did you have to move every time you move schools?
I mean, not really. It all depends on how far out it is. The city bus can take you pretty far. But when I went to Howyadoin, the only school in the area that's still in Illinois that I didn't go to from like Rockford all the way up to South Beloit was South Beloit High School. I was the only one. But I went to everyone else. Guilford, Boylan, Howyadoin, Auburn, East, Harlem. I went to Stillman Valley for a little bit there. And then regional school too. But I had a friend who at Auburn, my first year, this is me getting into high school, right? I am about 5'2", 5'3".
Yeah.
With size 10, maybe size 11 feet.
Damn.
Right, so I look like a clown. Oh, it gets worse because then that same first beginning, that summer going into sophomore year, I shoot up to like 5'7", 5'9", and then I cap at 5'10". That's where I'm at now, and I have size 13 feet. But he was trying to get freaky with this girl in the bleachers.
Okay.
Right,
okay.
and
I like the story.
pretty much she had a weird fetish. She would bring a hot dog bun, and she would try to pretend. right? That it was a hot dog. No, she did not bite. She did
That
not
his
bite.
ding dong
Yeah.
was the glizzy.
Yeah. She was like, man, are you Oscar? He's like, you call me Myers. And they had a whole thing going on.
Let me put ketchup
And
on it, baby.
No, they did. Ketchup, mustard. They licked it off. She would take the bun off too and whatnot. So yeah, it was their whole little thing. But unfortunately, they got a little too far into it, and they thought like, oh, I'm pretending to grill your dick.
No.
And so they had it on the bleachers.
No,
They had it on a bleacher with a spatula, and she was like, flip. What she didn't know was those bleachers were sanded because they were getting repainted.
Oh,
So his entire dick from both sides that he got pressed on had fiberglass all in it.
That's so bad.
He had to go to I'm not sure what the doctor was. I can't remember. He had to go to a specialized doctor and get that stuff surgically removed because it was so painful. Especially when he went from being elongated down to short. Oh, because the fiberglass didn't change its shape.
yeah.
Because the skin comes into
Yeah.
itself.
That's also how I realized that if a guy has a crooked dick, it's not because they masturbate, because they have scar tissue.
I used to know a guy.
Wait.
with one.
I lean to the left, boy.
You masturbated too much when you were younger, and now your dick has scar tissue.
See, I know a guy who has one,
Goddamn.
but his problem was
Called
he used
out.
to pop it.
He used
I'm
to
not
pop
ashamed.
it.
He used to, he used
What?
to literally, he showed me this trick one time, and he does his thing, and then he just literally said, listen to this.
Wait,
And you would hear it every time he did it.
Wait,
and the sound, what it ended up happening was
he'd pop
he
his
would
dick.
pop his blood vessel. It was his blood vessel. And so one day he goes to show a girl. And guess what happens? It ends up being a watermelon. He goes in, gets surgery, gets everything fixed. But now it's straight, but it's at a 90-degree angle.
No.
So,
What do you mean it's set in like it?
it comes straight out, but then it turns hard left.
Oh, I thought you meant it just turned hard left.
Yeah,
from
so
the
when-
No,
base.
he's got a 90-degree.
When he the nub,
Goddamn.
right? So let's just say this. He can hit it from the side, no problem.
Yes, exactly.
You found some
he,
new
he,
spots.
he couldn't ask to have it 90 degrees up so it hits the G spot.
No, it's
Excuse
to the
me, doctor.
side.
Can you rotate my penis
Sorry.
90 degrees?
I mean, that's perfect if you're trying to have standing sex, right? Because you just go like this, up and down, and it'll just hit.
Yeah,
See, now he'd have to be laying on his side. For
that
to
shit
happen.
hurt me. That shit hurted.
Man was in some pain for a while.
I don't. I get weird. I feel fainty when it comes to not like blood and stuff, but like when I know like. You ever watch Dr. Mike on YouTube?
Nope.
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 No.
You by yourself here.
Or just like Grey's Anatomy.
iPad, baby,
yeah.
detected.
Just like just knowing that there's organs there and like knowing like every time you move,
You
there's
mean
organs.
bodies
school?
are so icky.
It's
There's
just
like
like
organs inside.
I don't just like knowing. I'm just like I get a little.
Wait.
queasy.
I mean, I do mean to interrupt you, but not in a disrespectful way. It took you watching a TV show to realize there's organs inside your
no,
body.
I
Like
knew.
school failed that bad.
No, I knew. I just don't think about it. And like, there's this thing. What the fuck is
I
a
choose
hernia?
not to believe.
A hernia?
Exactly.
There's a weird thing where like your little intestine like just like pops out and it's like out, and I like just me thinking about it, I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
The theory of biology.
Yeah, it's scary.
Have
It's
any
nasty.
of you ever watched 1,000 Ways to Die?
Yes,
Yeah.
I love
Seen
it.
some,
I love
yeah.
it. I love it. I love it. 1,000 Ways to Die. My favorite one is the cucumber one.
My favorite one is the fire ant snort.
When he snorted the fire.
Yes.
Bro,
Oh,
mine was the X-ray. I hated hospitals, and then I saw that. I was like, I'm not going in a hospital, bro. You're not able to go in for X-ray because when I was younger, man, I was getting in trouble a lot. I'd also get in fights a lot. I would lose a lot. All right, I'm not gonna pretend I'm a good fighter. I'm a street fighter. My goal is to kill you. So if I can hit you with the car, I'm gonna do that.
That Hadouken, that street
Right.
fighter.
If I can hit you with it, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna play clean. That's not how I was raised. So I lost
Pocket
a lot.
sand.
Exactly. Let's go. And I would break a lot of bones. And so when I watched that show and they would take me in there, they would go through place like, oh, you need to grab this for them. And they grab one. I would grab an extra one. I'm like, nah, this ain't happened to me. There's a man and a woman behind that glass. I know what happened. Y'all ain't finna be fucking, and I'm finna die by this X-ray machine.
What's the helium ball one? When like it's a really big ball and it's like they just go inside of it, and it's like it's nothing but helium, and they can't find the exit.
Oh, that's horrible.
Like at first they're laughing because their voices are like really high pitched, and they're like, "Where's the exit?"
Yeah, asphyxiation doesn't sound too fun.
Nah, man, that's why I got a pocket knife on me
The
right
human
now. I'm
body.
popping that bubble.
Yeah.
Human body is not meant to breathe only helium.
You could die just for like inhaling from a balloon to make your voice like that.
You can literally suffocate yourself.
You could kill yourself that way. So be careful doing it. Just don't do it.
I think there's what's it called? It's not hypoxia. It's like hyperaxia or something else. It's the opposite. But you can get oxygen toxicity too from 100% pure oxygen.
Yeah.
Oh, that explains why. Like,
fact.
you know, if you go into casinos, they'll pump oxygen into the air.
What?
Yeah, because they want to keep you awake. So you keep gambling, you don't get tired, don't want to go somewhere. And that's why they also give you free drinks. And I was always wondering, like, you know, if you want people to stay awake, why not just pump 100% straight oxygen into this place? And then now that makes sense why they do a mixture.
Yeah. You can't have pure oxygen.
I'd be like, yeah, we're trying to make you spend more money, you know, but we're going to unfortunately make you spend at a hospital, not here.
we thought oxygen was the good one. I don't know why. What's happening?
Then you got the other episode from the diver episode where the divers had to come up and they had to enter a pressure chamber. And then somebody left the outside door ajar. One of the guys freaked out, opened the inside door, and got sucked through that tiny ass hole. And everybody else died because of it.
Yep.
There was one where the guy fucking pretended to have a long dick. Like, I think he like put like a banana or like something, and he like wrapped it around his leg, and like he kept it on for too long that like it cut the circulation, and he died.
Man, I saw one about bananas, and there was these banana spiders. Right, or whatever it's called.
Wandering spiders. Yeah.
Yes. So look, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I'm 99 years old, I'm gonna do this while looking straight at my fiance. If I'm 99 years old and I make it that far, we're getting that spiders. I'm going out fucking. Because you get about 4 hours straight boner, and then it's done. Heart attack.
Damn.
Regardless of your age, too. By the way, they're that poisonous. So you're going out Mother Nature's way. Like, I'm leaving offspring.
So wait, I could be sitting here 25, random banana spider comes up, bites me in the arm.
You get a
rock hard.
I get rock hard for 4 hours, and then I'm dead.
You have Mother Nature's way of giving you the blue pill.
Oh my god!
I forget what that's called. Why that happens?
Did they make an anti-venom?
No, I don't.
No, I don't think there is one for that.
Yeah, I think it's harder. It's significantly harder to milk spiders than snakes. So like you can have anti-venom for like reptiles because they produce enough venom that it's feasible.
I mean, they have.
But they got the anti-venom for the brown recluse and the...
Yeah, but
there's so many of them.
Yeah, they have treatment for that spider. So you can get treatment and you can live.
I mean, you know what? That could be a business idea.
Right?
Anti-venom for strange spiders.
Ready to go.
Or if Blue Chew were to sponsor this podcast...
I don't know why the fuck you want boner pills to sponsor us so bad.
It'd be funny.
Yeah.
It would be.
Man, I'm just going to say, I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to see a whole bunch of people be like, so who here has the problem?
Yeah.
You know how many times we brought up boners in this episode? They ought to sponsor you at this point.
They have to.
The one begging for the sponsorship.
All I'm saying is, you know what? We don't need school sex education anymore, okay? Just throw on this podcast. And everyone's all set to go. All right, listen. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna go ahead and do what your parents can't do. I'm gonna tell you the bees and the birds of life.
Do you remember? I don't know. I don't know if it's the same grade in every school, but like 5th grade, you watched the movie.
Okay, which one was it? Was it the birth movie?
The sex. There's a birth one.
Okay, see that's the big difference here. Because in 5th grade, I watched the birth movie, and 4th grade we watched that birth movie. And then in 6th grade, we had the What Happens When You Have Sex movie, which then comes in with another end of it being in birth. And we had this kid named Joey, cannot remember his last name, right? Some guy who's Asian culture. And he's literally, I mean, I tell you what, I'm impressed by this man to this day, right? He had power that I don't think anyone realized. He, underneath that desk, just...
No way.
Yes, he is. So in the middle of the show. And when he gets done... He not only hits so hard, it hits the person in front of him, hits himself, hits the sides. I dead ass.
That's fucking crazy. Okay, the ending there, that's better than my story. I was gonna say we had a kid named Jacob where I went to high school. He was a little bit of an oddball, just kind of like psychopathic tendencies. He would like get obsessed with people and carve their names into his legs.
Okay, that's
pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, but he would beat off like routinely in the mornings during like religion class.
Origins of a serial killer.
Yup.
Our Lord and Savior, I mean our Lord and Masturbator.
Dude, he would like show people too. He would like, what was it? I forget. I heard this story secondhand from somebody, but he was like showing people the lotion that he used.
I mean, I give the man credit for the confidence. You know, the confidence is real because when that kid Joey got caught, bruh, he started busting out in tears. He was so upset.
That post-nut clarity hit double.
Right? You could see it in his eyes. I'd never, until I got older, and you realize that one time you're having a good time alone, you know, you're playing with the Indian name boy who plays with himself.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, man, I feel disgusting.
That's like when you're watching you're in the mood and you're on that website and then you start watching some weird stuff and then you're like done and you're like, why am I alive right now?
I need you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
so like
real,
imagine
though. I
that.
hate this
Imagine
shit.
being in 6th grade and having that post nut. Oh fuck, I'm horrible in the middle of class, and you have 2 girls that have your nut on them, and a guy who's in wrestling. This is a grown man with the age of a child. What I want to ask you guys, what do you think happened from that?
You say he came on a wrestler too? Or
Yeah.
he was the wrestler? Okay.
No, he came onto one.
Guessing he had him in a cradle.
I'm still
No, this man, he picked up the desk and chucked it like the Hulk and grabbed him. The teacher didn't even try to stop it. That's how big this kid is, okay? He was 6'2" in 6th grade. He is 6'9" now. Me and him are still friends. And he picked him up by the back of his collar like a freaking cat and just chucked him. Pants down into the hallway.
Yo, dude had his whole pants down?
He had it dropped.
Imagine how scared that kid was getting thrown.
Well, let me tell you this right now. Out of his you-know-what did not come more white substance. It was a little yellow. Oh, God. And so, yeah, we had just pee kind of lying around on the floor because when he's flying, he's pissing himself.
I don't know how. Okay, I don't know. Little TMI, but after I finish myself or with a woman, I can't go to the bathroom right away. I gotta wait at least 10 minutes.
You gotta piss out the cum cork.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's all it is, bro.
It's hard as fuck
Mm-hmm.
to piss it out.
Yeah, we gotta remember when you're about ready to nut, right? So all your bladder knows when it's time to pee, right? And this depends on how hard of a nut you have. You have a hard nut, you're going to the bathroom, you go and pee, because the more pressure you have on it, it means like, oh, it's time to release myself. And again, fun story. I know a guy who, in my own sister, because she told me this story. This is how weird she is. That unfortunately, she didn't have to worry about getting Plan B because he used Plan P to wash her out.
No.
He used that double P protection.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's an infection waiting to happen.
She had a bad one for a month and a half.
Yeah, I imagine.
That was the only time I've ever seen her, go without a month and a half without having sex.
Jesus.
Some people's brains are great though.
But he didn't, and in all good conscience, that was his very first time. Right? I think he was like 22 at the time. I think I was I just turned 18, 17. And, he's a great guy. Mm-hmm. He's a lawyer out in San Antonio right now.
Ooh, lawyer.
Right? So that's why I'm being nice and not dropping his name. So, and again, I feel bad for him too, because again, he's a great guy. He's very religious.
Yeah.
He has his 2 kids. Right?
Low key, he just accidentally did like the kinkiest thing anyone's ever heard.
Ever.
Just own it. Own the story.
I feel
he warned her too. He's like, hey, I gotta use the bathroom. Why don't we go? And she's like, nah, you don't need to do nothing. You got me. I was like, so did you ask for it then?
That's what it sounds like.
It wasn't his idea after all.
So was he the main actor on the 22-year-old version?
I believe so. But you know what's worse too is, ironically enough, so she then got together with his brother. And that's who she ended up marrying, right? In a very, very mature, grown ass, 1 in a million way. They parted ways. He got his Plan P, and got up out of there, didn't go back to the battleground, and they got together, and it's like truly love at first sight. And they're a great couple. And but I love this story I'm about to tell you right now, and I told her at the wedding too. And so what happened was, about 10 years later, they're getting married now. Okay. She's in her 30s. He's like 33. I'm 20, maybe 21, maybe between 20 and 21. I think I was 21 at the time because I went out there and I got super shit faced. Okay. And I overhear her and her mom, because she's not actually related to me at all, right? But we're basically families.
Yeah.
And so her mom her and those two were talking, and they don't realize, when you leave a door cracked, it doesn't mean you can get super loud. You have to still whisper. and I'm nosy, and I'm partially tipsy. Now, this is the rehearsal, not the actual wedding.
Oh, okay.
And I hear this story. And so here's the story, and I'll tell you how I said it at the wedding. So basically what had happened was they were getting into it at rehearsal, right? Now, I heard this story at the actual wedding, right? Partially tippy. I heard part of it, and I got to hear the rest of the story at the wedding. Because then her mom was talking to one of the bridesmaids to give her a heads up because they had a little bit of a hangover.
Yeah.
And they wanted to make sure because you understand why they got drunk really bad that reception night before the wedding. You won't trust me. And so their reception night, they're getting really freaky. You know, everyone's got drunk. They're going out, doing the thing, whatever it is. And that night, you know, he's been asking her for years now. It's like, hey, I'm gonna do what we talked about earlier in this podcast. I want to go ahead and get that back door. I'm gonna lick it clean, eat those groceries.
Yeah, do your thing, king.
And so, like, you know, she's finally said yes. You know what? It's the wedding night. Go ahead. You know, we'll try some things out. She went ahead and cleaned herself. You know, do what she wanted to do, made herself feel better. So he gets on there, and from what I heard, he's suction cupped like an octopus. Okay, I'm talking about
an admirable technique,
right? I mean, like, if you're gonna do it all the way. And so they're going at it. And she's like, "Hey, I'm not feeling too good. You know, give me a second." He goes, "Oh, no, you're fine."
Yo,
the warning comes. He didn't listen. She's like, "Yo, you need to stop." And he's like, I'm in this. I ain't gonna get a second chance. And well, he didn't get a second chance, and she had rapid diarrhea because she had crawfish, and she's allergic to crawfish, and it gives her really bad shits.
He sucked it right out.
He sucked it clean. So not only did he get a whole mouthful of shit, he then, because he was still suction cupped when he puked and went into her ass.
No way.
I swear to God. Now, he runs to the bathroom. He's freaking out. Mind you, this is a reception night. The wedding's in the morning. It is about 6 a.m.
That's what you do after the wedding.
Sorry, no, it's about 2 a.m. right there. And they have to wait 4 hours to fly in because they're from Texas. No, it's not Texas. They're from Atlanta, and they have a doctor for his braces. So they have to fly in a dentist because all the other ones around town, they're closed. I don't know. You ain't doing shit for you, bro. Funny story. Haha. It sucks to be you. But theirs fly in, right? They pay him an exorbitant fee. Mm-hmm. He cleans his mouth. And then, you know, the wedding happens. And so at the time.
Why'd they have to get his mouth clean? Why?
Because braces, man.
He had
shit
literally
stuck in the braces.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Concrete. That's the first 2 hours it starts to harden. So it was, and he was tasting it. He was smelling it all the time.
He couldn't just keep water in his mouth to make sure it's not.
No, because he has to get hot enough water to hopefully go through. And even with the pick, he needed to take his braces off to get it because they got inside the actual braces in his teeth.
Yeah, because even when they put the glue on, there's still micro cavities that things can go into and get stuck underneath the brace itself.
Yeah, so we're at the wedding and we go through the whole wedding. I don't say shit. Keyword shit.
So you know about this before the wedding?
Yeah.
He messaged you and shit?
Well, no, because like I was in the room 2 rooms down, so I'm partially drunk, and they didn't have the door closed.
You heard the
sneaks over.
No. I hear the freaking out from my sister and her mom running through the hallway, right? To hear 4 hours later the dentist running, not walking, running through the hallway to get to him. And so I asked the dentist, me and him talk, and you know, I hear the story. I said, "Oh, no problem. I'm gonna make sure I look out to make sure no one does this. I got you." Fucking wrong person to tell you. I am sorry. We get there, and I don't like the guy, right? I didn't think he was good enough for her. All right, in the beginning, I just didn't like him whatsoever. He's a great guy now. He still don't give me no damn money or help me buy a house, but whatever. But the food was horrible. It was dog shit. Again, keyword shit.
Did you get fish or chicken?
I don't know what they had, bro. I was drunk the whole time. If I wasn't drunk, I was totally fucking just high off my horse.
I was gonna say, and if you were drunk the whole time and it was ass, then it was really ass.
Yeah, and I was high too, and it was ass.
Yeah.
And we're eating the food and doing the little oh my God, this is so amazing. You guys make a beautiful couple. Oh, blah, blah, blah. They love each other. Oh, sweet lives. I stand up and I say, you know what? At first, I didn't like him. I'll be honest with you. I didn't like him whatsoever. I thought that he was just a shit guy. And I looked at her. Was a shit talker, and I looked at him. And they couldn't have their shit together. And each time I'm saying the word shit,
You're
you can
looking
see
at
his
him,
face
yeah.
start to turn more green. She's getting pissed. And I said, I feel like they did a really shitty job on this food. But coming together and seeing both of you guys so happy and holding hands and doing everything, it lets me know that you're going to have a long life together.
And not a shitty one.
And exactly, I said, and not a shitty one. My only advice from what I've heard is don't be the suction cup, be the blower. And I had it right there. She gets up so pissed off. So pissed. She throws a wine glass right at me. Coley misses. And she goes and she starts yelling. She yells the whole story.
Oh no, you
Mic
stupid.
on whole story. About, don't you tell people this happened. He was eating me out, and I swear to God, he had a suction cup, and I had the shits from the food, and hand clapping the whole little to say, my last little prank too was when they got back from their honeymoon. They had a whole thing of mouthwash and little floss picks, and I said, keep it fresh.
That's so fucked, man. I don't know. I gagged through the story.
It's
It was
nasty.
disgusting.
Yeah, the whole part where he sucked diarrhea out of an asshole kind of made me queasy, but
It didn't even bother
I
me
think what
none.
got
I was just
me,
laughing.
what got me is that he was so suction on that he actually got it back in there.
yeah, like, what the fuck?
How the fuck does he puke it back in?
I don't know. From the story,
he was like taped on there?
no, he was hard.
Out of the super glue.
Like she had bite marks on her butthole. He was so suction cupped.
Damn.
And I guess when he puked, your natural reactions just like kind of go blah, right? So he grabbed onto her and pushed in as he was puking.
I feel like that was that was totally.
You should have.
Totally.
Intentional.
Yes,
you should have gave him the
absolutely.
human centipede as a fucking as a gift.
Shoulda gave him that
during
movie.
During the wedding. Yeah, here you go, human centipede.
Because the worst part was he had a warning twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he still kept going.
And guess what? From that, they have never once again he has never been allowed to be around her butt. Not even anal.
okay,
Does
so
he
she
still
said,
want to?
Butthole privilege is revoked.
Completely for life.
okay, to give her the benefit, well, to give him the benefit,
I think he got a lot more than a benefit in that package.
she said, stop.
Twice.
She couldn't just say, I'm about to shit.
Nah.
There's two different things.
You got to remember,
Yeah, but if you hear stop, I feel like that's more of a reason to stop.
But you also got to remember that side of the family is
I'm
from.
about to shit. That will
Yeah, well, she's
stop
from,
you more than
she's
stop.
from the southern parts of Atlanta, right? So she's used to being what's called like the Southern woman. So it's like I'm gonna defend myself and have my rights and whatnot, but at the same time I'm gonna be in their format of ladylike, which is I'm gonna make sure that I do things in a professional manner. She won't cuss. She won't use
Really?
nasty words.
See, and that surprises me. I've met people like that before, but they're like, especially Southern women, where they think it's like somehow unethical or it's like manly to
Well, see,
cuss.
for her, from how she broke it down for me, she goes, "Look, in this world, a man's going to tell you what to do. He's going to tell you how to act. He's going to make sure your emotions are in his control. So the one thing I can control is how I react. I would not allow a man to control or dictate how my reactions are going to be seen in my own body. And the only way to do it is make sure I say, hey, if I want to cuss, I'm choosing to cuss, not because you made me angry. If I want to be angry, because I want to be angry, not because of what you did." Unfortunately, she still has really horrible anger and does not follow that to the T. But the cussing and whatnot like that, even when she was angry, I know I was cussing when I was impersonating her, but she wasn't. She didn't say a single cuss word. Though she did shock everybody that night and she dropped the N-word hard.
Michael, you've been quiet the whole podcast. Talk it up, everybody. Let me ask you a question. We got to get to know you.
All right.
Are you with drums or flats on the wings?
Excuse me?
Drums or flats when you eat
He's talking
wings?
about the chicken arm or the chicken wing. That's how I think.
See,
we
I
should call
tended
it.
to go for the chicken leg.
That's what he meant by
okay,
drum.
let's say you get boneless wings.
Boneless wings. Yes, I am a big fan of boneless wings.
So you don't
reason
prefer
why
traditional?
Is I like to just shove those motherfuckers
That's
in my
just
mouth.
chicken
You
breast.
don't prefer like just traditional? Like, are you a flats or like drums? I prefer the flats. I'm a flats guy.
I'm not gonna lie to
I
you.
don't know what is
So
flats
okay,
and drums.
do you know what chicken leg is?
Yeah, I know.
Kind of
what
looks like a
chicken leg is.
drumstick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the drum.
That's the
And
that's
so
the
the
one you
wing are the little parts of the wing. You know how you have a wing and the little end from go to KFC or something like that?
context.
Cut off that little end of the wing, and that's the wing right there. Those two bones.
Context. You know how when you get chicken wings, they come in two different shapes.
Yeah.
That's the drums and the flats.
Oh,
One shape has one word and one shape has the other.
I'd probably go
Okay,
with
see, I
flats.
was way off. Now I was thinking the turkey, the legs and whatnot.
No, I found a real easy way to do it.
Yeah, there
But
we go.
anyway, what I
Two
thought was,
different
I'm a
kinds.
flats type of guy.
see, I like the ones that have the bones in them. I'm not sure what they're called because for me, all I can do is I found a thing on TikTok. I can pop the suckers out, pull it, the whole thing in my mouth, and I'm happy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
you're talking about the flats there.
You
Yeah.
teach me that.
I
Yeah,
like
you
the
gotta- you
drums.
gotta get the flats.
I like the extra gristle. I'm not gonna lie, I sit there and just like gnaw all the gristle off the end of it.
Okay.
I'm like a
eat,
dog.
Like, dude, like sometimes like I just like eat a little too much cartilage and stuff. It's so
You guys
good.
ever take a chicken leg and just clean that sucker so much that all even the excess bone that goes along the side of the leg is just gone? Everything,
Well,
skin, all
not
of it.
that far, but I
Ribs.
clean it out.
Ribs.
Man.
My southern side of me, I swear to God, if you give me some ribs and they're not boneless, clean, like you can throw those suckers on someone's clothes and it won't cause a mess, they ain't done.
Let me
Yeah,
ask
I'm the
you,
same
let me
way.
ask you-
I just sit there with the bones after the I finish my food, but then I also go back over the bones.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you can't waste nothing, man.
It's
When
like a
they're good
fidget.
ribs.
It's,
Can't
no,
waste
it's like
a
a
single
fidget
leg.
toy. It's an oral fixation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
a
swear.
fan of having fat on the ribs.
I don't like fat on the ribs either. I prefer it to be all the
That's
meat.
the only time I will eat fat from like in meat. If it's on a
need to-
steak or something like that, I won't touch it. But if it's on ribs, it's all in my belly.
I'll eat a big old New York strip with
See-
all those fat caps
Oh
on there.
yeah, that's where I'm at.
No, not. I don't know. It's just a texture thing. But then, like, when I ask people, like, "Oh, do you like mushrooms?" They're like, "No, I just don't like the texture." I'm like, "What?" Like, it's crazy. Like, mushrooms are so good to me, but like, if I see
I can't do
if
raw
I see
mushrooms.
fat on chicken,
You know what I'm saying?
steak, ribs, I'm just like, I
See, you know what's weird is I used to
Side.
be a chef, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a picky eater. Well, I thought I was until I got engaged.
Yeah. No.
Okay, I thought I was a picky eater. And then I met my fiance. All right. And she's a vegetarian and also a picky eater. She don't like the vegetables. She likes corn. It's a good one.
That's a good. Yeah.
She likes cheese,
Okay.
right? So mac and cheese, cheese pizza, anything with cheese. We now have the Impossible Burger, stuff like that, which is great amount of protein, different formats of different stuff.
Right.
Ramen, and that's the list.
Okay, so the
Cream
list
cheese
don't
and cottage
extend?
cheese too. Sorry, I forgot those ones. And
What about
cereal.
What about bread?
Yeah, bread. Oh, bread's in there too. Yep. So, and we for the longest time, you know, one of her things was like being called a picky eater. So we learned to elevate our standards when it comes to food. We're no longer picky eaters. We just have exquisite taste.
Yeah. No.
And I'm sorry if you can't match that exquisite taste.
I'm a human garbage disposal. I will eat anything with any nutritional value that won't break my teeth. Pretty
See,
much.
I'm the same way.
Absolutely.
But on top of this man being an excellent realtor, you should try his cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
for
said
real.
he said at the he's invited to the housewarming party.
I'm telling you, when you have
he's
it, bro, I'm gonna bring
ribs.
some ribs. You gotta lose your
Okay.
Oh,
shit.
okay, is it too much for me to say I'm gonna have two housewarming parties, one with just family and one with coworkers?
No, that's usually how it works. So
Yeah, we'll have,
usually,
actually, we should have like 10 parties and different themes for all of them. Like the first one will be cooking, second one will be drinks, then weed.
man, oh man, trust me, don't get me started. I can make so much different food that have weed in it. You have no clue.
Yo, they can too. They make a really mean infused salmon, I hear.
I
Oh,
make
yeah.
an excellent
Yeah.
can of butter.
And see, so
Excellent
I can
can of
make it
butter?
in. I make it into mac and cheese. The only problem is, do not allow me to be in charge of the dosage.
Am I the
You
only
should,
one that doesn't
absolutely.
smoke or get high around here?
Might
Probably.
be, yeah.
I do not do that.
Don't worry, we can change that for you easily.
Yeah.
No,
It's
I
pretty
don't
easy.
do
Telling
that.
you.
It's just not my thing. I tried for years. I tried.
Man, see, that's the biggest problem. I
It's
hear
not my
so many
thing.
times from people who are against smoking, and I get it. What your choice is your choice. No peer pressure, but just understand the right environment with someone who's knowledgeable. It's a world of difference.
Here's
And
my
see,
question.
I'm someone who's a smoker, and I'm also not pro weed. Like I think if I could go back in time and never start, I would do that.
I would probably
okay.
too, to
How
be
come?
personally honest.
You said you would too.
Yeah, well, yeah, it has a lot of benefits, but I felt like I would have been better off because it's
The
kind of
only
like
reason-
a crutch almost. now,
Yes,
you know
that's
what I
the whole
mean?
thing. It's like the benefits that it gives you are because you've gotten used to it.
Yeah,
right?
literally.
No, that's not
Yeah.
even. I mean,
Well,
I get,
not speaking
yeah, no,
for
I,
you.
yeah, I
but-
get you, but like, so I've been smoking weed since I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the time I was 14, I've done almost every drug because I have family who do drug dealers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so
What's their number?
don't worry about it. Listen, I'm not that dumb. I'm not getting shot today. They love me, but they don't love me enough to put a cop in me. But and so the biggest problem right now with a lot of weed smokers, especially with it being legal, is they don't know how to control. It's the same thing. Like you can die from drinking too much water.
Yeah.
You can die from too much air.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about how you have the right control. And a lot of people, they don't even know what microdosing is for marijuana.
Yeah.
Dude,
Now, if you microdose correctly and use it correctly, you get all the benefits, none of the bad stuff. Like for me personally, with all my trauma and anxiety, it allows me just to feel like I have calm. But there are days that I overdo it on purpose to be completely just, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, no,
You know?
that's every day
Smoke
for me.
too much
That's-
can make you dumb, and then
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you literally, if you hotbox to a point where an entire room is filled with smoke, you can literally suffocate yourself.
Yes, no, like the oxygen deprivation is one thing for people who like hotboxing, and for people who like small confined spaces with not much airflow. But
What has
another
happened
thing-
to those people when they were younger? We need to get you a therapist. We need some help.
So
And
when
then-
you've tried smoking, were you always doing something afterwards?
So I'd be in Mexico sometimes. I would smoke weed, but then again, that was
Bro, okay,
Reggie.
first off,
that was Reggie.
you're in
Reggie.
Mexico. Let me stop you right now. I would never smoke weed in Mexico.
It is
Holy shit. I don't know how y'all do it. To everyone from Mexico who lives in Mexico, I commend you. I hope to God the border gets destroyed and you guys are able to come over because first and foremost, you do the best fucking work in America.
Damn
Firstly,
fucking right.
and secondly, y'all are just some anxiety kings and queens and goddamn gladiators because the shit they go through over there,
It's insane.
it's nuts. And then y'all can smoke weed on top of that? Man, look, I'm about to get shot and now I have to be high and trying to react to bullets? No, not happening.
But to continue with that, thank you for the compliment. Appreciate it. So sometimes I would smoke over there. Sometimes I would smoke over here because my brother, I'm not gonna say which brother. I have a younger brother.
Which
He like sold weed a little bit, and I would smoke. He had like this like chocolate kush and all that, like
Shit, we got them moving, boys.
And I don't know, like it's just not my thing. I would fall asleep, no matter what.
Yeah,
No matter what.
See,
So
'cause
you-
you overdid it.
Sativa, indica, like we had one hitters, and like I would just like take like one hit. I'm like, ooh, I'm high.
that
You know, maybe your issue is it's too high of a quality. Maybe you need to go with a lower quality, extremely low quality, and then try it that
Not
way.
that, bro. I can come over to your house right now. You take one hit that's actually, because I can control a hit. I've been smoking for so long. You take one hit, you microdose, and you'll see a world of difference. And remember that there's two formats when you want to smoke. You want to smoke and have a fun time. That's when people drink and get blackout, fucking drunk, just to have fun.
Can be
And
crazy.
then you want to smoke like for the actual medicinal purposes. You know,
Which is
so like
what
I
I
microdose a lot throughout the day. And I mean, it's like very small amount to where I'll light it, I'll touch it, get just enough smoke to barely see something, and I'm on my way.
Yeah, I go through about an ounce of crumble a month.
Ah, damn.
That's a lot.
See, I used to have that same problem. I got so bad.
Habitual dabber.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I got so bad. I was going through about maybe 2 ounces of crumble and live,
Yeah.
and then I would go through a pound of weed in a month.
See, you used to be that bad too, except for I got a little bit worse for a period of time. I ended up doing about, if I was doing weed, it was 2 pounds of weed for a month. And then if I was
For a
doing crumble,
month?
if I was doing crumble,
we're talking
I was
like-
doing a whole pound.
You're doing like backwoods every day. Like,
Literally,
yeah.
But I wouldn't smoke backwoods. I preferred, Swishers. That Swisher
Yeah.
sweets. I usually went with red ones. That was my preferred choice, or I'd go with the mango ones. Those
This
were
man
really
went
awesome.
nuts when he got his first bowl.
Dude, I would literally roll it up. I'd sit there and I'd roll 10 of them. Okay,
Yeah.
those 10 are gone within 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it's just gone.
Okay,
and then I'm rolling more.
I mean, that's when it gets to like an oral fixation point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
literally, you
doing
get
something.
That's
addicted
my
to the
problem.
smoke
That's
at that
why,
point.
like, for me, I'm not so much addicted to the cigarettes. Don't get me wrong, I need the nicotine, but I can get a patch, I can take a vape, but I need to have something in my
The
hand,
smoke.
right, to actually do it.
So coming as a non-weed smoker, let me tell you the two things I hated most when I was smoking with people. You would have the people that would like take a hit, like, hey, yeah. And I remember this one time I was, and then I was talking to this girl, right? And I was like, bro, why are you doing that? And then two, just the people that like would like it'd be in rotation, and they would just like at the moment they got it, they would just talk
Oh my god.
and talk.
Yeah.
And then
And talk-
it
Yup.
just burns away the
Yup.
entire
Bro.
time.
So the first person, it's the bullshit theory that needs to get debunked, which is if I hold it in my lungs, I get more higher, I get more. You do not.
Gotta
You get the
ghost it,
full-
bro.
Nope,
You gotta
get the
ghost it.
full
all you're
amount.
doing is
You get
getting more
higher if you
contaminants
ghost
in
it,
your
though,
lung.
don't you?
No, when as soon as you bring in those first 2 seconds, right, of it being in your lungs is what you take, and everything else after that is useless, and you're just putting more toxins into your body. It makes it harder and harder to actually continue hit. And so what they
Now,
do
would you,
is
you say the same holds true for dabs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Holding
So,
dabs
but
in
dabs-
is actually bad.
Really?
Well, have you ever noticed that when you hold a dab in, you get extremely lightheaded?
Occasionally. I also
So-
get
Yeah.
goosebumps.
Okay.
Yeah, let me give you this quick story. Dabs literally almost killed me.
Really?
Whoa.
So my uncle,
I didn't even know this.
yeah, my uncle
Is
is
it
also
from
a chef.
Salute?
No. So it wasn't so much the dab's fault. It was just the combination of what happened in the line of events. My uncle made chicken. He made it super, super soft and tender, and he forgot to tell us there was bones in it. So I ate a bone, got a small tear in my stomach lining.
Ooh.
And so when I was smoking wax, I was smoking wax daily back then.
Yeah.
And Mom, if you're watching this or listening to this, listen, it was Brandon who did it, not me. He provided everything. So I'm just gonna make sure I get my butt whooped a little less. And I was smoking weed daily because down there I didn't want to get caught. So wax was the ways to go. Easy to get
Yeah.
rid of, better for the smell.
Smoke it at work.
Yup.
Yup.
All day long. And so what happened when I was smoking the wax, right? It would stop the healing process.
Oh.
Right. And it made it a little bit harder to get through because unfortunately enough, he had a piece that he would do a combination of putting into food and edibles and stuff like that, and then smoking it. So we would eat it and then smoke it. And that's what made it worse. Now, if I was just smoking by myself, it wouldn't be that bad because I wouldn't really get into my my stomach lining and stuff like that. But because I was eating it, it was digesting, it would get caught in there, and then it wouldn't allow it to heal.
Yeah, like every cell in your body is high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the goal from it. And so I had to go and get actual microscopic surgery
Damn.
to remove the resin from the food.
Yeah, and people don't understand that cannabinoids and other psychoactive substances have similar effect on the cells as they do your brain. So a lot of times they confuse your cells and throw off intracellular communication, which is a lot of times how your body communicates and heals itself as well as provides signals, hormonally and things like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's why I'm a big believer. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm a big believer. If you're not at least, if you don't smoke weed for a purpose, don't start now.
and more if you're not 21 yet, realize it's gonna change your brain.
It's 25 now.
25, yeah.
There's another thing on top
gonna
of
change your fucking
Wait, you gotta be
brain.
25?
Yep,
No, not
consistence-
gotta be, but it's your brain's not done developing.
So
till it's 25.
consistently, if you're smoking, if you're a weekend smoker every other weekend, no problem. But if you're like me every day, it's gonna make a difference.
Just
It
be
destroys-
a functioning alcoholic.
It destroys your whole reward system. It makes it hard to be interested in anything.
He doesn't have
does.
dreams anymore.
It really does.
Oh,
Yeah.
and also
I don't have dreams
you
either.
You get rid of your REM sleep right away.
Yup,
That brings up-
it affects
hey.
your memory.
that brings up. I'm gonna start doing a
Sleep study.
a new segment. I'm gonna do a new segment. It's called the Roman's fucked up dream segment. Let's do it.
That's right. You told me about that. You want to talk about your fucking awful.
Let's do it.
Fucking
right.
awful.
So-
we're gonna use a different sound effect next
Yeah,
time.
I don't know. I just pressed a random button, but
I'm gonna
this-
send
this is
Yash
the-
I'm gonna send Yash an MP3 of a nice lullaby.
This is the Roman fucked up segment.
Stop! Don't hate it again.
Do it again if you bet.
I fucking hate it. Stop.
Okay, so
Ultimate cringe
I
compilation.
have some
Yes.
weird. I have some weird ass fucking dreams, dude. And
Do tell.
Borderline fetish
Do tell.
dreams.
this one is not really that much of a fetish.
Not this one.
And I know. But we were late anyway,
Go do
so
your thing.
yeah, no, we're good. So I don't know. Anybody in this room right now watch Attack on Titan?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I guess,
Are you-
So good.
He's about to tell you his vor fetish.
Oh my god.
Are you all caught up with it?
no,
No,
I am not.
not
I'm
at
waiting
all.
for it to finish so I can actually I'm a binger.
I watched the first season and that's it.
Fuck. Okay.
But I read all the manga, so I'm more ahead of you.
Go ahead, spoil it.
Okay, so no, it's not really much of a spoiler.
Spoiler.
But okay, so there's your friends that are now your enemies,
Get
And-
bored by a Titan.
and I was I was a friend that I wasn't an enemy. I was against what they were doing, and they were killing people. That doesn't happen in the show, but they were killing people, and then out of nowhere, you remember Tommy Pickles from Rugrats?
Oh, please stop.
Yes.
He the bad people were pointed swords at him, and they're like, there was a big body of water, and they're like, jump into it, and then
I want to see someone draw this.
and
Tommy Pickles held at sword point over
and
his
then
Listening, please animate.
you know how he could kind of talk in the show, but not in real life. But he's he's stuttering. He's like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to swim, and they're like, and then they push him into the fucking
Like a
body of water.
like a Sparta kick.
They just like, I don't know, they push him and like he's crying and like it's just like a slow moving Tommy Pickles dying underwater type of fucking thing.
God.
And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Did you go from the background to being Tommy Pickle?
No, I wasn't like I just saw like his body going down in the
So
water.
you just somehow entered the water and could see
It was
everything
so fucked,
occurring.
and I felt so bad because like he's like I don't know how to swim, and then they killed poor little Tommy Pickles.
You know, a lot of people say that your dreams correlate somewhat to what you're dealing with in life.
I think they do. I'm a big fan of Freudian psychology. So I think, the man had more to offer the psychological discourse than he's often attributed because, like, he's kind of demonized now, where in modern psychology, they act like he was some fucking weirdo pervert who didn't know what he was talking about when in actuality, that's a lot of interpretations of his work. That's a lot of interpretations of his theories and not so much what they actually said.
And that's another thing with history. Like, you go back in history, nothing's ever really truly correct. Everything is always revised.
I know why I had that dream too, though. I was watching the Rugrats in Paris where Chucky couldn't dance with because his mom's dead. Everybody's dancing with their mom and his mom is dead, so he's dancing by himself.
Fucking idiot.
That shit's sad as fuck.
Please tell me you were not an adult when you watched this.
Well, I watched it like a couple weeks ago.
You still watch Rugrats?
Yeah, it's a fucking classic, dude.
Well, it still exists.
Me and my
Goddamn.
fiance might throw on some Fairly Odd Parents here and there.
And then I watched that, and then the reason the death was because I don't know why. There's a potato cutter where we work.
What?
It just senses big potatoes and it cuts it. I'm just like, and I was just joking. I'm like, what if you put a baby in there?
Oh my god!
Just cut him up.
Imagine
listen,
and then I had that dream.
a conveyor belt full of babies headed through the slicers.
I'm gonna say this right now. This is the most softcore stuff I've ever heard. If you were in my high school Discord when we were playing on PC, we would play. Anyone heard of Gmod?
Oh yes! Oh my goodness!
Okay.
Yes.
Do you know like the prop hunt?
Yeah.
Yes.
We would pick the map that had all the room with dead babies.
No.
So do you know what would happen when we were on that map?
Everybody
You become
gets a
the dead baby.
Everybody's a dead baby, and we're just running around going. And eventually, you would hear some grown, deep voice high schooler going and going. And you hear mama, mama, mama. Hey bitch, what you doing today? And you hear out of the corner out of nowhere again. You hear the mama stuff, and then I know you're like, let me get some milk.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to the How You Doing podcast. How you doing? That was a fun one. I was a little hungover in the beginning. Now I'm feeling a little tipsy. Please like, subscribe, share it. Tell your friends about it. If not, I mean, my boy Dave is going to come in your sock and you're just going to have a crusty sock. I don't know where. The fuck? Crusty socks are not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you.
And he's going to mix it with the clean ones. So you're just like, okay, I got a clean pair. One's good and then the other one's crusty.
I'm going to make a tower out of your solid socks.
All right.
There you
I'm
go.
gonna throw
Thank
that
you.
shit
Like
into
and
the salad
subscribe.
dressing.
Penis!